a little samba going. Welcome. For you today, we have Christ, the Redeemer, sitting over beautiful Rio de Janeiro. We are going to be talking about the lovely Amazon River, Amazon Forest, the Amazon River Basin, Iguazu Falls. But with that comes favelas, home to some of the poor people that live in this country. As you can see, these shanty towns are not the luxurious places you would want to see with a country that is up and coming like this one is, and is host to one of the most world-renowned football or soccer teams. And gentlemen, take notice. This is apparently the new up-and-coming, along with the country, hairstyles. That's a mohawk that's batted down in the front. Yeah. And the number 5. We're talking about a country that is broken down often into 5 regions. That is the 5th most populated country in the world, and the 5th largest. We are talking about none other than Brazil. There's a beautiful flag. A country that is bordered by many miles of lovely coastline on the Atlantic Ocean. This is where Brazil is located in the world. Again, this is being the equator. Brazil, you can see how massive it is. And in class, we talked about how many countries it actually borders within South America, as well as we're going to talk about later the fact that it's in the southern hemisphere, meaning it has opposite seasons. Brazil is broken into 26 states. You know, the United States is broken up into 50. The capital being Brasilia. But Brasilia was actually not always the capital. It used to be Rio de Janeiro. And Sao Paulo is another really important city. Obviously, they kind of highlight on this map the more important cities. Where are they located? You guessed it, right near the coastline. In fact, one of the reasons why Brasilia was made the capital was that they wanted to not only highlight their amazing opportunities along the coastline, but to bring in like a 21st century city that would be inland. So without getting too carried away, this is Mr. Salway. We are going to be chatting about Brazil, and as you are watching this, you should be an engaged audience, which I know that you all understand that to be taking notes, pausing this video. Obviously, everyone goes at their own pace, so don't feel rushed and get these notes down because we will be using them as we go forward, and all this information is going to help you for our final project. So Brasilia, Rio de Janeiro, which actually used to be the capital before Brasilia, and Sao Paulo, probably the 3 most important cities that you're going to hear about. Manassas, that's where the FIFA World Cup was held. If you watched the Americans play there, it looked like basically they jumped in a swimming pool and played their game. So we talked about 5 before. It's essentially the fact that that's 5 different regions of Brazil. We have the southeastern part being the most industrialized and the most populated. with the Amazon, as we're going to talk about in a little bit, that kind of, well, not kind of, but it really makes sure that much of Brazil, especially inland, is not going to be really populated. In fact, the major population is going to be all along the coastline, minus Brasilia, with particularly the Amazon being sparsely populated. This is a little map to give you some understanding of the population by state. Before we get into anything else, though, what I'd like you to do is to analyze this map. This is a resource map, and I would like you to make 3 observations about this map. What is it telling you? What's the importance of this? Where are things located? What's located there? What is this telling you about Brazil? So you should pause this video right now, write this down in your notes, because I will be checking it, and unpause it, and we'll move forward. And you're back. So, what do they have for natural resources? In fact, they have 1/3 of the world's coffee. That cup of joe that the adult at home, which I know you all don't drink, chugs down in the morning. 1/3 of the world's coffee is coming from Brazil. Pretty impressive. Raw sugar, or sugar cane, which is becoming more important because they're trying to find ways to use it not only for a scrumptious addition to any meal, but to use it for a source of energy, like oil. There's many fruits. They have cattle. There's mining, minerals. They produce steel. Of course, they have a great deal of coastline. They have the Amazon forest. To sum this up, as I know you all are going to be putting this down in your notes, they have a ton of resources. Hence, why they've really been blooming and doing well as of late. There is an acronym called BRIC, B-R-I-C. That's Brazil, Russia, India, and China. Those are the countries that are truly up and coming and doing really well currently. And one of the reasons is the Amazon. We're talking about not only the Amazon River, which is the second largest river in the world, but the Amazon forest, the Amazon River Basin, which has all of the tributaries and all the water that drains into the Amazon. It's currently host to many Native American tribes. Well, I'd say many, but some of the Native American tribes that were originally there before the Portuguese came and colonized the land. We also have the rainforest covering around 40% of the country, and almost 50% of the country is forest, which is pretty impressive. I know you have already looked up the word deforestation. Unfortunately, we've seen the Amazon be depleted or taken away greatly, especially in the last 10, 20, 30 years. Deforestation, logging it, using it to create crops, soybeans, all of that. But much of the Amazon is going to be tropical and wet. Just talked about how Native Americans originally were in Brazil, and now there are still some Native American tribes that exist within the Amazon forest that are still rather primitive, meaning they're not going to be sitting and texting you or checking their Twitter feed, although that's, of course, I'm not trying to stereotype here. There are some that are going to be very primitive, but still some that are going to be living much differently than you or I would. Amazingly, in the Amazon, it's home to over 1,600 tree species. Pretty wild. You can check it out from this picture. It shows you quite an abundance of type of trees. And of course, it's got amazing wildlife. It's got 10% of the world's species. And if you would like, you can go check out this website. You're not going to be able to click on it right here, but you can copy and paste that, or just type it in. Sorry, you're not going to be able to copy and paste that. So you can see there are a bunch of amazing wildlife here. The Amazon is amazing. Also, Brazil hosts things like Iguazu Falls. I'm going to play this clip about the Iguazu Falls for a little bit, and then you can pause this. Remember, taking all these notes, going through this, don't feel rushed, go at your own pace. You can use all this information later.
Even for giant rivers like the Amazon,
Let's turn it up a little bit.
The sea is not always smooth or uninterrupted.
Let's make this a little bigger. So awesome. Brazil has so many natural resources, and honestly, so many cool things to offer. Hence why it's one of the most up-and-coming countries in the world. And yes, we're looking at the coolest waterfall.
Iguazu Falls, on the border of Brazil and Argentina, is one of the widest waterfalls in the world, 1.5 miles across.
1.5 miles of waterfall.
In flood, 13 million liters of water spill over every second.
Actually has one of the world's largest hydroelectric dams. Way to harness that energy. You all get the point. And that's going to be it for this first session. I'm going to pause it, and we will check back in for the second session on Brazil. Enjoy, ladies and gentlemen. See you soon.